Hi, everyone. Good morning. Well, it's morning here. I don't know when you're watching this video, but I hope you've had a nice week. And, it's I'm having a pretty good morning. Actually, the sun is out after a couple days of really deep fog, and the birds are singing. And I got up early and got some stuff done. So I'm feeling pretty good. It's a pleasant feeling. And I decided that I'm going to actually soak that good feeling in and let it resonate with me. I'm going to be mindful of it. So, what I want to talk about today is being negative. And so, we're not talking about um, the kind of being negative where it says, you know what, if you're negative, you should think about the good things that happen in the world. Uh, it's not that. We're going to talk about negativity on a neuroscience level and why negativity, why we have it, and why it's actually an important part of our makeup. So let me share my screen here. So how I want to start this negative thing is I want to ask you a question. So, of these five things, these are things that are very important for our survival, right? We need shelter to stay out of the rain and the cold. We need protection from danger, especially our ancestors, from the predators. We need food and water. That's really important. We need mates because otherwise, the species, we're talking about survival of the species. And the same with community, right? Together, we're stronger. So, of these needs, which do you think that nature chose as the absolute most important one for survival of our species? So I give you a second to think about that. Was it shelter, protection from danger, food and water, mates, community? Well, it turns out it's protection from danger. And I'll explain why. It has to do with sticks and carrots. So the sticks are, you think of them like the predators, right? You get bonked with them, right? The sickness, the predators, the dangerous threats, right? That can harm us, kill us. The carrots you think of in terms of rewards, so like food and water. Even though you need it, it's something you're kind of got, right? The mates, the shelter, the community. So what happens is that nature figured out that if you don't get one of these rewards, one of these carrots, food or water or shelter today, you probably have till tomorrow to get it, right? um, but if you did not avoid a stick, getting hit with a stick or eaten by a predator, there is no tomorrow, right? So it did the statistics, I guess, nature, and said, no, first and foremost, we want to be paying attention to the sticks and not the rewards. So what we evolved was something called a negativity bias. So what that means is that we are wired to search out and focus on the bad, scary stuff, the dangers, right? Um, and it's so strong that that the amygdala, remember I talked about that little part of the primal brain, the survival brain, uses 2/3 of its neurons to look for that. And because remember, nature wanted us to see danger before it came so we could avoid it. It knew that that's the best way for us to survive. So it also set it up so that we will soak in negative experiences faster, 3 to 5 seconds. It only takes for a negative experience to like fast, and it stays in our implicit memory, the kind of the learning memory, much longer than positive experiences, because nature wants us to remember. So let's say you burn your hand on a stove, right? If any of you have ever done that, I know I have, you will, that will soak in. Like first you'll notice it really fast, ouch. And then all of a sudden, some pathway is going to be, don't ever touch a stove again, or always check the stove before you touch it, right? So, and that's so that we can protect ourselves, right? Nature said, that was a bad experience. It was a dangerous experience. I want it to soak it in, and I want it to stay in the memory really long so you never forget. Now, as opposed to a pleasant, positive experience, so maybe somebody holds a door open for you if you're going through a store or something. that takes longer to soak in. You're not going to spend the 12 to 20 seconds soaking that in. You're going to smile at this person, they're going to smile, and then you forget about it. You're on to the next thing, right? And when you go home and you say, oh, I'm going to the store, I wonder if there's a person going to open the door. That'll be so nice. No, because it's not important. Nature felt like what's dangerous is important to pay attention to. What's positive and pleasant is not important to your survival. So it gave you this strong, um, um, gosh, I hate to say thing, this strong focus on negativity, on negative things, so that we could keep ourselves protected, right? Keep ourselves away from danger, so we don't even have to face it, right? It would prefer that when we face the danger, then we go into that fight flight, right? But it says, you know what? I don't even want to see the danger, so let me just keep checking for it and steer you away from it. So we have this negativity bias. Now, the thing is that it was built for our ancestors. So our ancestors' threats were truly life-threatening. Doesn't mean we don't have some life-threatening threats today, but our ancestors really, they were in serious survival. Today, we're not really in survival mode, right? We're in kind of stress mode, but our survival brain doesn't see it that way. So our survival brain will pick up on the math tests and the angry boss and the bills and see them as serious threats. So it will keep your mind focused. Oh, if you flunk that test, everything's bad. It's all going to be terrible, right? You're going to flunk everything, or you're going to, not finish your classes, or if that boss yells at you, you're going to get fired, then you can't pay your bills, and right. So our survival brain sees our current threats the same way it saw the life-threatening threats of our ancestors. So that's why it feels like some of these threats are really important, because the survival brain and the negativity bias is continually trying to protect us for survival. So what we can do is work with mindfulness, because mindfulness is bringing our attention to a present moment experience. We can use that to bring our attention to these present moment experiences that are pleasant and positive, and we can soak that in a little more. So what does that look like? So we be mindful of what's going well, right? First of all, we have to notice it. So like this morning, if it wasn't for this class, I probably would have said, oh, nice day, and then just moved on. But I said, oh, I'm supposed to be soaking in pleasant, positive experiences, right? So I noticed, okay, nice day, right? And then and we notice the things like what we're grateful for, our good food, our people we love. We notice that. Then when good things happen, like, yeah, actually it's a nice day, it feels good, I got some stuff done, I have some energy, we intentionally, meaning on purpose, direct our attention, because we're learning how to do that, right, to these positive experiences more often. So, and you make a practice of holding on to that pleasant experience as long as you can, and hopefully 12 to 20 seconds, so it makes an impact, an impression in your psyche, right? So that I can say, oh, right, so I remember that day when I taught that negativity bias class. It was a nice day. Now I have that pleasant, positive impression to recall when I need it. And if you do this more often, of course, because of neuroplasticity, you create a pathway that's like, oh, pleasant experience, let me soak that in. It gets stronger. And then you actually change your relationship to the world in a way, because the negativity bias is having you see it in a negative way, right? Like see it in terms of threat. But we're saying, there is some threat out there, but there's also a lot of good, pleasant, positive, even neutral stuff that I'm going to bring my attention to. And then it tends to make your outlook even happier and stronger. So you don't feel like you're weighing down with all the negative things in the world, right? So I invite you to soak in the good, right? The people we love, the beautiful nature, a sunrise, some great food, a fluffy animal that feels good. When something's happening that feels pleasant, if you can remember, this is a present moment experience that's pleasant, let me soak it in. Let it not just run by you as fast as the negativity bias would have it be, right? Because remember, negativity bias is like, I don't really care about the good positive things. I just trying to keep you alive. But we can use our attention to say, yeah, but thank you for keeping us alive. And I appreciate that. And we're going to use you. But I also want my life to be pleasant and know that it's not all about threats, right? So we can use mindfulness to do that. Okay. So let me stop this share. And what I want to do right now is if you're in it with me, I invite you to join me on a practice called Savoring the Good, right? We're going to see what it's like to soak in the good stuff. Okay. So first I'm going to ask you to get comfortable. And if you get yourself really comfortable and that's pleasant or positive, see if you can allow that feeling in your body, and you say, what feels comfortable about this? Oh, that's good. Soak it in. Yeah. Okay, and just allow your eyes to close if you like, or have a low gaze somewhere a little bit in front of you. And then take a couple of deep breaths. I invite you to do that if that feels good. And now bringing your attention to the sensation of being held by your couch or your chair. Letting yourself be supported, be held up. And you just kind of relax into it if you can. Let it hold you up. Okay, so now I'm going to invite you to think of something that's pleasant or positive in your life. Even something that, if it's hard to find pleasant or positive, I'll let you find something that's neutral. So at least it's not bad. But if you can find something, so like a person that you really care about, or your animal, or maybe you achieved something, maybe you did pass a quiz, with flying colors, and you feel really good about that. Or maybe you have some hobby that you love, some sport you love doing that feels really good. I don't know what, skateboarding or basketball or something like that. As long as this person makes you happy, that's what we're looking for. It makes you feel pleasant, happy. Yeah. And what I'd like you to do is see if an image comes to mind of this activity or person. So a picture of a skateboard, or that feeling of flying in the air, or, that image of that grade 90, 100%, or the picture of it, like I said, the animal or the person that you care about. So we're getting an image in our mind because our brain works in images and sounds, actually. And so we're holding on to this image. We're really using this practice to soak in that pleasant experience. And we start with an image. So you can see it, the person, so that we can kind of hold on. If the mind continues to see that image, maybe it will stay around a little longer, that pleasant experience. And notice, as you're seeing this image, are there any effects happening in your body? Are you feeling some happiness or some joy, or just noticing? Now, if this is not happening, that's not a problem, right? We're not here to judge, oh, I'm not doing it right, or I couldn't think of a thing. We're all just, it's beginning. If you're totally beginning, I had a hard time with this. I had a lot because of my chronic anxiety. Any of these, quote, positive practices that we did were difficult for me. So even if you sense something neutral, if you're having a hard time with a positive, pleasant experience, see if you can find something neutral, like the inside of your palms. If that just feels, at least it's not bad, right? Or, the fact that you're just sitting and not doing any work. And the point is that we're having this experience and we're going to let it soak in a little bit. We're going to hold it in our attention longer than our natural negativity bias would allow it to hold. So you're thinking about this pleasant, positive, neutral experience. Maybe you see an image of it. You notice what's happening in your body. And maybe you even have a word that goes with it. So like the person's name or the animal's name, or just the, guitar, if that's your thing that you love to do, or skateboarding, and the reason we pick a word is because, again, that's how the mind holds things. So we have this image, we have this word. We're holding this experience as long as we can. And if your mind wanders, believe me, that's normal, especially on this one, because it's a little, we're using a strong attention muscle to bring our attention to something that's pleasant, when all the time, probably most of our mind is saying, okay, we've been there, done that. We got to get back to worrying about what's next. What am I going to do this morning? How did I don't understand that math equation. Right? That's that negativity bias. That's that survival brain scanning for the next possible threat. But we're okay, still trying to use my attention to just gently come back. Okay, I see we've moved away. And so I'm going to get that image again of that pleasant experience or neutral experience. And I'm going to try to hold it there just a little longer. And if you feel something good inside that's happy, or you can even smile. If you feel, you can put your hand to your chest or your belly and feel just any way that we're feel the happiness, or we're using any action that can just draw out this pleasant experience just a tad longer. Okay, so I'm just going to be quiet for a minute and let you do this. Noticing the pleasant or neutral experience, seeing the image, trying to stay with it. Coming back as often as you need. Okay. So let's let that image fade away. And now bring your attention again to the sensation of sitting, being held by the chair or the couch. Kind of noticing yourself in space and time. Right? Maybe you're hearing the sounds in the room. You might be hearing my voice. And when you feel ready, you can go ahead and Wiggle your toes or your fingers or move your shoulders. Look around, open your eyes when you feel ready. And we gently come back to the video. Okay, so how did that feel? How did that go for you? So it might have been difficult, and I really want to acknowledge that. But know that even just trying it once is like you're starting the new pathway, right? And if you try it over and over, it's going to get better. It's going to get easier. And it's a way that we can use mindfulness to actually bring our attention to things that are happening every day, all day, that are pleasant or good, right? It could be just the taste of that first cup of coffee, or a smile from someone's, anything. If you notice that it's a pleasant thing, say, how did that feel? Does that feel good? And let me hold on to that good feeling for a second longer than it wants to hold on to, right? So that's using mindfulness to balance out the negativity bias. We're not going to get rid of the negativity bias. That's there solidly to keep us surviving, and it's done a great job. So it's going nowhere. It's done its job, but it can get out of balance, and especially when things are hard and there's a lot of stuff in the news and we have pressures and stress, right? We want to be able, it's another way actually to put on the brakes, right? Using our attention to put on the brakes. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to, like, if anything happens, maybe one time a day, that seems positive or happy, notice yourself smiling. So see how your body, see that present moment experience. How is that landing in your body? See if you can hang on to that experience of pleasant, positive. Okay, thank you all. And I think that's it. So I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.